I've just bought my first own sailboat, and of course it was the perfect timing for the first storms to arrive here in the north of Norway. So the snow came back on the mountain peaks and a good gust came in, which also took a little bit my sleep, because I don't sleep on the boat. I live in a house and I want to use the boat to go explore the area here. Well, I got up, went to the boat, and everything was fine. And now the good weather is back. At least for 2 days we get some sun, so I'm gonna make use of that, and I'm gonna show you this boat. This is Mildred. She is a Fjord MS33, so that's a Norwegian built with 33-foot length. And unlike some people have guessed in the comments that I'm Norwegian, I am not. My boat is, but I am from Germany. I just live up here in the north of Norway now for 1.5 years, I think. The previous owner had called this boat Mildred because where he lives, in the little village here in the north of Norway, there is a stone, and under that stone lives a troll with very big boobs apparently. And her name is Mildred. So that's why this boat got the name Mildred. But for me, I had looked up what Mildred, the name, means, and apparently it means something like gentle strength. And that I really like, because I always wanted my boat to be named something in the direction of soft but adventurous, because up here you're in the lower Arctic kind of environment, so it's quite harsh. It can be quite hard to sail up here and to be on a boat up here, and simultaneously I wanted to be the inside really soft and safe and warm. So I wanted to somehow like incorporate these two things into the name, and Mildred basically incorporates both soft, gentle strength. It's like the feminine and the masculine, the softness, the safety, the warmth, but also this badass adventure, going for it. So I really like the name, and I'm gonna keep it. We're gonna start on the bow, and the bow will be one of the biggest projects, unfortunately. I have the anchor winch, the windlass, which is maybe broken, maybe not. Definitely the push buttons that are next to it, they are definitely broken. There was a hole in them and everything rusted underneath, so they're not functional. The windlass I hope can be saved. She doesn't look like she's in the best shape. At least the paint is all coming off. So I'm gonna take it all off, take it apart, see if it works, and hopefully I can put at least the windlass back and then get a new way of putting up the anchor and down. We already have an idea of how to do that. We'll just have to see if the anchor winch is itself working. And then also the windlass itself, where the chain is then going into the bow, that's going past the furler of the Genoa. So there needs to be some change there. And then the chain of the anchor is going down into the anchor locker, and that is just a poor design. I will show you when we're in the bow cabin, because there's no water drain whatsoever. So I need to get a little bit creative on that. But apart from that, I will probably exchange the anchor and the chain to make sure that that's completely safe when there's a strong storm coming up here, and when the winter we have one storm hitting after another. But apart from that, the Genoa and the furler, they look like they're in really good conditions. We took out the sail, or like hoisted the sail completely with the sailmaker here in the area, and that looked really, really good. So I'm happy that there at least I don't need to worry about having to invest into a new sail, and I'm very grateful that that's fine. Moving a bit further aft, the boat is coming with a spinnaker boom. I've never sailed with a spinnaker actually before. I've only used a gennaker, so that will be something new for me. But we have bought this boat to learn, right? To learn and to fail most likely as well. But to learn from that. Let's hope so, at least. And then I have a furler boom, which is completely covered right now because there was a storm coming in this week, which meant a lot of rain, a lot of wind. It's open from the top, so in that case I needed to protect it so that there's not all the water coming in and then destroying the sail. But the sail itself is in really, really good condition. I'll have to figure out things with the furler boom. I hope that it all goes smooth and that I will like it. But I mean, you can always change back, right? But for now, it's just gonna stay like this. The sailmaker is making a new boom cover for me, and also a new bimini and whole cockpit cover, so that's in the making. I really like that the boat is coming with these little teak details, but what I do not like is that on top of the teak some of the appliances, or all of the appliances, are connected, and some of them will get a lot of pressure, which I really don't like, because that means that there's also all this pressure on the wood. And just like those cleats are attached on there, all the winches are on there. So there's just a lot of power that goes into these wooden pieces. Here it might be that it might be bolted through, but definitely not on the side parts. But the winches themselves, they will need some maintenance. I will need to take them all apart, clean them, grease them. I have 4 of them, and they're all going back into the cockpit, just like all the lines, which means this boat is perfect for single-handed sailing, because everything is just going back into the center here, and it feels really safe here in the center, because when I stand here on the helm, I am kind of in this hole and I feel really safe. I need to go quite up high to really fall out of the boat, so I feel like this is a safe boat to be sailing by myself. But yeah, apart from that, I have the helm here. This is the secondary helm. It's hydraulic and directly connected to the main helm inside, and I have an autopilot attached to that. There I still need to figure some things out. I think it was mainly the house batteries that were the problem, because they were completely flat, and they were not giving enough electricity, like voltage I think, to the autopilot to keep the course. But we'll see. It could also be because this one is upside down, the GPS. But we'll have to figure this out. Apart from that, I have a radar. I don't have a chart plotter yet, so this I will need to invest in to get a good chart plotter, and probably also some other instruments that will also go inside. But there's good space here in the cockpit. I mean, not a lot of people can sit here, but I can have a small table here. I can sit outside, and now anyways, autumn and winter is coming, so there's not many warm days. I'm gonna have a tent completely around everything here that is right now being made, so that it's also easy to sit inside here and getting the heat from the boat inside to have it in the tent, and to protect everything also from the winter, from the snow. When I was looking at boats the last 7 years, I always liked the ones that had these kinds of doors, because I don't like when you have to slide 2 pieces of door out every time that you want to go in and out. I really like it when you can just use it as a normal door and you're inside. And then I can also slide this top piece back, and then you're already inside the dockhouse. So in my little second helm station with a 360-degree look around, which makes me feel extremely safe, because I can safely steer from inside here while having a full overview of what's going on around me, and being absolutely safe and warm, protected from anything that might be going on out there. In the deck saloon, I have on starboard side the main helm, and another throttle, so I have one inside, one outside. I have fish finders, so depths, all the instruments for the motor, as well as some other screens, and the electrical panel. So everything is around this area, but I will need to sort through it all. I will need to understand all the electronics here. We've already gotten started a little bit with it, because one of the problems that I had when I brought up the boat was that I didn't have navigation lights and I didn't have VHF. And that was really stupid of me, honestly, because that could have been very dangerous and probably was illegal. But like I said, I'm gonna buy this boat, I'm gonna make mistakes. Like every sailor, every person knows that the best way of learning is to do it yourself, and we always learn through mistakes. I hope that the mistakes are not gonna be anything big or dramatic, that they can be small things and that I can learn fast, but I will make mistakes. I am human. I am not trying to be a machine, I'm not trying to be perfect, I am trying to learn. So now we know that the house batteries were completely flat, and the lights and everything is running over the house battery, so there was no way that could have the power to be on. And also it might be that this is why the autopilot was not completely working. At least I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because that would mean that now that we've exchanged the house batteries, maybe the autopilot works. I'm gonna try that out some of the next days. But now to the port side here in the deck salon. I have this couch where there's of course a lot of storage underneath, but this is not only a couch, it can become a bed, so one person can actually sleep there. I can fold over the back side and then the whole length is one single berth. Right now I'm using it as storage for all the tools that I need right now here, so it's a little bit messy and I'm not gonna fold it over for the moment, but I'm gonna show you at some point. I will need to redo all the cushions, or want to renew them a little bit, make it my place, and also a lot of the smell gets stuck in textiles, so I want to get all of those out. I'm also going to change all the curtains just to make sure that everything goes out and gets a little bit of a newer vibe again. Then coming down the stairs from the dockhouse, you come into the saloon with the galley, the kitchen on port side, and then the sitting arrangement on starboard. And also here, for the last 7 years when I was looking for boats, I always liked boats with this setup, especially for the sitting area, because I find it so much more suitable when the table can just always be the same size. You don't need to fold it back in to be able to pass by. You're not kind of like sitting in a group and then someone walks in between. So I really like it here that it's just on one side, the galley on the other side, and you can still fold down that table and make it into a double berth, which is super nice, because that means with the bed that I have up there, this table that I can make into a double berth, and the actual boat cabin, I can have up to 5 people on this boat. It would be really crowded, that's for sure, but it is possible. In the galley, I have a front loader fridge, which usually a lot of sailors would say that's not smart. For me, I somehow like it. I somehow prefer it to the top loaders, even though I know that when I'm heeling over, everything might be falling out, but I don't know. I prefer that. I'll have to make that choice and see whenever I'm heeling over that I have to find a solution, but I prefer that kind of fridge. Then I have a stovetop here, and the sink is underneath here, and everything just like flushes down. Everything is clean, it can be closed. I have a lot of space to work with. And in the back, that's where there's a lot of storage for all the plates and cups. And by the way, this is an extraction fan because these windows don't open. If anyone knows how to fix these things, please reach out, because it seems like it's a really good thing to have, but I have no idea, no clue at the slightest if I can somehow save this. On the boat I have 3 sources of getting heat into the boat, which also means moisture management, to get all the humidity, all the moisture out, especially in winter. That's so crucial. So usually on the boats that I'm used to up here, we always have these little electric heaters running all the time when we're on shore power. And then on this one I have this little stove. It's a Dickinson, it's a diesel heater, and I love it. And then the third heating source, that is an Eberspecher. So here I have a panel to turn it on, to turn it off, to change the temperature, and it is all stored in here. If we move a little bit further forward, because in here we're then in the bathroom in the head, and there I have the toilet, and underneath in here, that's where the Eberspecher is. So everything is super easily accessible. So once coming through this door into the bathroom, the next door leads into my future bedroom. So this is the forepeak, and it's gonna be my main bedroom. I need to make some changes in here, some that are smaller projects that are more in my comfort zone, others that are far outside my comfort zone. And I mentioned one when we were still on deck, when we were talking about the windlass, and that's the anchor locker, which is straight up front. Because that anchor locker unfortunately doesn't have any drain. That means right now all the water, especially as the buttons on the top were not sealed completely off, they had a hole. There was a lot of water coming in through the chain and everything, and that collects in there. But there's no drain going out, so the only way that water can come out is through that wood. And that's just super unfortunate. Because this mattress, I had dried everything, this mattress is already soaked again. All the moisture, all the water is coming through there, and it needs to pass by this room and goes into the bilge. But also that bilge is not directly accessible. There's like a little bit of a wall and water accumulates in front of there. So this will just be the moldiest room of them all. And that's where I want to sleep. That means that anchor locker needs to be completely sealed off, that there's no water that can get out of that locker into this bow cabin. And I will need to think of a drain. Either I need to make holes into my hull, which seems like the craziest idea, to buy a boat to then drill holes in the hull. I mean, most of the boats have holes there. Or I will need to make like a pipe that goes all the way from the front straight into the bilge and bypasses kind of this room. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to figure that out. If you have had the same experience and you have managed to find a way, please let me know. I need some inspiration and guidance of what is best to do, especially before I drill holes in my hull. I am not so comfortable with that yet. But yeah, if I want to sleep in here, something needs to change. In addition, right now I have this beautiful storage space here, but I want this to be a bigger bed. I want to take this out most likely, and that this whole area becomes the main bed that is always there. So also where I'm standing right now, I want that area to be fixed as one big bed. Of course there's storage underneath, I will have access to that. In general, I just need to rethink this bow cabin a little bit. But that feels more like a manageable project to me because I'm used to working with wood. So that's much more in my comfort zone than that anchor locker. In the dockhouse, so right after coming in from the cockpit, that's also where all the important stuff is, underneath me. So this is where we find the motor, the most important part of it all. And anything that I'm going to tell you about the motor would to a very high percentage be wrong. So I'm not going to tell you anything about this because I still have so much to learn about it. Everything that's right now underneath is majorly outside my comfort zone. I will have to learn so much about this, but luckily I work with the charter company here, and that means they have 8 to 9 sailboats that need to be maintained, which also means they need to have the staff who maintains that. And luckily, one of my friends and colleagues has already started helping me with the batteries. Because like I said, those house batteries, I have 2 LED house batteries, they were dead. So what we did now, we exchanged them for old ones that still function. And what we realized is that the battery charger is giving way too high of voltage into the batteries, which of course is not good for any of the instruments. So we took that off the system and we installed this simple car battery charger for the moment that simply plugs onto the batteries until the actual battery charger that we have ordered arrives by mail, and then we can install that. The batteries here, that's the first project that we're going to tackle. Luckily I have my friend and colleague who will help me with that, because alone I would just be completely lost. The next project will probably be that windlass with that anchor chain locker that is leaking everywhere. I'm really curious what solution we're going to come up with, because that will be a crucial part to get all the moisture out of here. Otherwise this winter is just gonna be really difficult to manage with all the snow and all the moisture that will come through there. So we will see. I am really grateful for everyone who subscribed from that very first video, and really excited to do this journey together with you and together with my friends here who helped me on the boat. I'm just really grateful I don't need to do this alone, and also so grateful that I get to do it. this is, yeah, I've waited for this for 7 years. So thank you for joining me on this journey.